You're right, everyone. So today I'm here to talk about a topic that I've seen floated about quite a bit recently. It's a good talking point for football fans, and that is the Premier League Team of the Decade. I've seen a lot of posts about this on Match of the Day on Facebook, Sky Sports, seen YouTubers like True Geordie discussing and talking about who should be in the Premier League Team of the Decade. Starting with a formation, I'd have to go with a 4-3-3. In goal, for me, I was thinking about either one or two goalkeepers between David De Gea and Petr Cech, considering about what them two have both done, achieved. Petr Cech was, he did win a fair amount. He was pretty good, pretty consistent at Chelsea, breaking many records, holding many records even still to this day. But, he sort of declined near the end of the decade in a way. But you could also say the same with David De Gea. I mean, De Gea's only won one Premier League trophy. I mean, I would have gone with those two, but to be honest, I'm not going to go with either one of them. I'm going to go with Joe Hart. It cost us like £140,000, and on his day, especially in the season where we won the league in 2012 and 2014, he could easily have been, particularly in the market today, a £30 million goalkeeper. He is just absolutely sensational, a club legend. So in goal, I'm going to go with Joe Hart. At right back, for me, has to be Pablo Zabaleta. I mean, I don't think we've seen a more consistent sort of right back. You could possibly say Ivanovic, maybe, for a solid defensive right back. Very good. Zabaleta, it would have to be that. I've seen a lot of people saying that Trent Alexander-Arnold should be in there. For me, they're a bit overrated. Yep, I've said it, so what? I find him quite overrated, so it's going to have to be Pablo Zabaleta for me. Centre half, first one, has to be Kompany. No doubt about that, no doubt in my mind. A leader, club captain, legend, absolutely brilliant, spent 11 years, it was a good 11 years as well. Yes, there was a few downs, but overall, it was a very, very good, consistent time he had at City. I will never, ever forget the goal they scored against Leicester as well last season. I remember watching that live and it was just unbelievable. I'm still struggling to believe it still went in, even to this day. It was just incredible. But to have alongside him with John Terry, because again, a leader, club captain and legend for Chelsea, came through the youth. I've seen a few people say Van Dijk. Yes, Van Dijk was sensational last season, but I would not put Van Dijk in this team, the same reason I would not put Ederson in this team, even though Ederson has been brilliant for us. That's purely because he hasn't been, well, Ederson's a bit different, he hasn't been in the Premier League as long as any other goalkeepers or any other players. Van Dijk, he was good at Southampton, but wasn't quite the spark of the really, really good overpowered player that he is currently at Liverpool. So for me, I'm going to have to go with John Terry. At left back, this one was a bit difficult. I wanted to say, in fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead with it. I'm going to say Andrew Robertson. That might be a somewhat debatable, but I like him purely because he's a player who got relegated with Hull. He was doomed, rubbish, terrible, all that malarkey. And he's come from that, being relegated, especially now with how good and consistent of a left back he is. I can't really see much of a fault in this style of play. And for £8 million as well, he has been brilliant. So really, really brilliant. Into the midfield now. Cam, it's close between David Silva, Ozil, Kevin De Bruyne. Saying that, I would not put Kevin De Bruyne over Ozil or David Silva, purely because of the legacy and how much of a good, silky, sort of stylish player that they both had. I'm actually going to throw a fourth one in. I'm going to go with Juan Mata, because on his day, he is absolutely brilliant. Really, really sensational and a good, very much underrated player as well, I feel. You know what, I'm going to stick with my guns, and I'm going to go with either Silva or Ozil. David Silva. I promise this is mainly not going to be a City-based team. I'm trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can. It's just, of course, in this past decade, we have been absolutely brilliant on top form. And I don't think we can ever top this decade anytime soon, in my opinion. CDM, Kante. I mean, the engine on him, and especially when Leicester won the league, then he went to Chelsea and won the league again, back-to-back, with two different clubs, which I'm pretty sure no Premier League player has done before. He's just sensational. You can put him in any team. You could probably put him in Cobbler's team and he would still be amazing, considering that all the rubbish players that he would have around him. Yes, you could also argue that possibly James Milner, Fernandinho rather, could be in there. Fernandinho is quite an underrated player, but I'm going to have to go with N'Golo Kante. Other centre mid, no question in my mind. You can't change my mind on this. Yaya Toure. He was just, he was incredible. A proper old-fashioned box-to-box midfielder. Something I feel as though we don't see that often anymore in the Premier League. Just so good. Absolute powerhouse. He really and truly was. I don't care what anyone says, any arguments, whatever. He is just absolutely incredible. And it's sad, we might not see another player like him in the Premier League anytime soon. Right, onto the forwards. Right wing for me. People could say Salah, and I'd probably be swayed to that purely because it's sort of similar to Robertson's sort of legacy in the Premier League. Salah was not given enough chances at Chelsea. Obviously had spells at Fiorentina and Roma where he did build up himself. But regardless of that, I'm not going to go for him. I'm going to go with Raheem Sterling, because he is someone who Liverpool picked him up for like £600,000. He started off as like a young sort of talent coming onto the scene. Probably didn't have the best of management under Brendan. I think it was Brendan Rodgers at the time we brought him. We picked him up for £50 million at the time. That seems stupid for a player like Sterling. Not worth it one bit. But to see what kind of a player he's turned into, his finishing is a bit lackluster. And he can be quite selfish when it comes to passing. But player he has turned into under Guardiola, it's just been incredible. He is definitely worth a lot more than £50 million for him now. I'm going to say it's more of a bargain than Salah. You can't change my mind on that. Sterling is so much better than Salah, so much proven, so much on top of his game when he's in good form. On to strikers now. You could argue there could be Harry Kane, Suarez, Aguero, Vardy, either one of those players. If I had to pick two out of those four that I've quoted, it would have to be Aguero or Vardy. Not Suarez or Kane, even though they both have been incredible. Suarez has been top goal scorer at one point with 31 goals. Kane, I think, was the same as well, on par with that. But neither one of them really did anything significant other than just scoring a lot of goals. They didn't really prove their worth in trophies, in accomplishment of trophies or anything like that. So I'm not going to go with those two. Out of Vardy or Aguero, it has to be Sergio Aguero. Last night he broke, Henry's record for the most goals scored by a foreign striker in the Premier League, 177. Which is just unbelievable, getting a hat-trick last night against Aston Villa that we won 6-1 in. I think he just purely does deserve it. I'm going to say straight up, he is the best striker the Premier League has ever seen. How do you like them apples now? What do you think to that sort of statement? I think it's fairly true, fairly honest as well, that I would say that he is definitely the best player we have seen, best striker, that we have seen in the Premier League. Onto the left, Martial's been quite decent. He did win a lot of silverware. Well, not a lot, but quite a decent amount of silverware at United, considering the pitfalls that United are currently going through and the weird transitional phase they're also going through. I'll probably have to go for Hazard. Probably would have to go for Hazard. They didn't even pick him up for that much, I'm pretty sure. Chelsea was like 30 odd million, something like that. Of course, I sold him on for 88 million to Real Madrid. Probably could have, if you ask me, they probably should have got more for him, in my opinion. At least 100 million. Especially when you consider Ronaldo's that much at the age of 34. Even though Ronaldo could probably go on, play on until he's 64. So that's my team. In goal, Joe Hart. Right back, Zabaleta. Kompany, Terry. Robertson. Centre mids, David Silva, N'Golo Kante, Yaya Toure. Right wing, Sterling. Striker, Aguero. And left wing, Eden Hazard. So that's my team. I'm also going to throw in a manager as well. I don't think I've seen too many people do this, and that's to throw in a manager into this squad as well. So I would say, could put Klopp in there. Well, let's put it this way. Klopp, Guardiola, Mourinho. You know what, just out of pure respect, I will also put Sir Alex Ferguson in there. Yes, he did retire in the 2012-13 season when United won the Premier League and haven't won it since, but just because of that and because of the legacy he had. I would put him in there as well. But out of those lot, Klopp, yes, he has had sort of the same legacy as I did quite with Robertson, where he's come from nothing in the 4 years that he has, 4 or 5 years he's been in Liverpool, into now challenging for the title. And probably, well, they've put it this way, they've won the league. There's no two ways about it. Guardiola, he has changed the game massively and set the bar super high. That we can quite clearly see that Klopp is very much chased down. Mourinho, yes, he is quite a special manager, but it's also self-proclaimed. That's what I'm trying to look for. He's very much self-proclaimed in his tactics and everything, even though he has been very consistent. So if I had to pick either one of those four, out of Mourinho, Klopp, Guardiola and Ferguson, I'm going to go with Arsene Wenger. Bit of a random one. I don't suppose a lot of people would have probably expected that, if anyone does actually watch this. But purely because of, again, just the legacy he had. But just because of how much of a brilliant manager he's been. And the fact that, same problem with United as well, no other manager following has really lived up to the full legacy and amazement and quality that Wenger has. I would just put him in there just because, again, out of pure respect really, just because of what he's done at Arsenal. So that's pretty much it. That's where I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you have lasted this long. And if you have lasted this long, give yourself a pat on the back, give this video a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit.